What is up, guys, and welcome back to another video with F1 Maestro. Today we're going to be talking about the Monaco GP, and I'm doing a guide on what boosts you should be using for each race in the opening round and then the final and qualifying round as well. And also I'll be explaining the track characteristics. So let's just open this crate up quickly and then go into the GP format layout. I wouldn't mind the epic part. Okay, we get Nico. Okay. So the GP has started today. At least the qualifying round has started, the first round out of the three, and that ends on Friday. And then Saturday is your opening, and then your final round is on Sunday. Now you want to be avoiding racing in the first 2-3 hours because you will be getting disconnected in your races. That's for every round. So qualifying, opening, and finals, you want to avoid racing in the first 2-3 hours, just so that you can score the best possible points. So as we can see here is the track layout, the race at least for the Monaco GP, the second GP of the 2023 season. And qualifying round, you can see we have 4 tracks, so you can qualify between Wednesday and Friday. First up is Sao Paulo, Silverstone, Miami, and then Imola. You only have 50% chance of rain at Silverstone, 66% chance at Miami, and 67% at Imola. If you look at Imola's temperature, it's 1 degree to 5 degrees Celsius, so it is more likely that you are going to get the rain on this race. And then for the opening round and the final rounds, the race format is the same in terms of laps, rain percentage, and temperature. So the first race in the opening and final round would be Barcelona, the second would be Monza, the third would be Suzuka, the fourth would be Singapore, the fifth would be Baku, Austin is 6th, 7th is Montreal, and 8th is Abu Dhabi. Alright, so for the opening, the qualifying round, you want to be using, this is a corner track, corner and somewhat speed. So anything like the Merlion, the Saar, the Skull, the Unstoppable, Tune-In or Hex are all good boosts for the Sao Paulo race. Silverstone is corners and tire management. So if you do have drivers unlocked that have good tire management without compromising on obviously the overtaking and defending, you want to be using them preferably. Lando Norris is a good example. And so Silverstone is tire management and cornering, or ERS, anything that complements cornering. And the boosts for that would be Saar, Merlion, Hook, and Kauai. For Miami, you've got, this is a speed track, definitely speed, a little bit of corners, but it's mostly speed and then cornering. So any boosts that contain both speed and cornering is a good choice for this track. And you've got Hex, Tune-In, Shin, Ode, Skull, Iron Force. Keep in mind these are the boosts that I have for reference in my the boosts that I have available to you. So if you're a spending player and you've collected boosts, you might have better boosts, but this is just to use for reference and a guide to go off of. So remember, Miami is speed and a bit of cornering. Imola, that is a speed track and a bit of cornering. So anything that's mainly speed and then cornering isn't a bad choice. You've got Eclipse, Deadfast, Merlion, and Taurus for that. And then we move on to the opening round, which is Friday, and then the final round on Sunday. And as I said earlier, these two opening rounds and final rounds, they follow the same format in terms of lap count, rain, and temperature. So you will be using the same boosts for the opening and the final round on each respective race in order. Barcelona is corners and speed. It is mainly corners, so anything that has corners and preferably some speed, you can use that and throw that on your drivers. You've got the Hook, Merlion, Tune-In, Ballast, and Hex for that. Then for Monza, that is more corners. You've got the Deadfast, the Hex, Unstoppable, Skull, and Eclipse. For Suzuka, that this is a pure corner track, corners. So anything with good tire management, especially Suzuka is a tire eater, you want to be using corners and tire management. Speed isn't going to hurt, but corners are the main characteristics. So Merlion, Kauai, Dragon, Saar, Ballast. Singapore is pure corners as well, and for that you want to be using Tune-In, Merlion, or any of the other boosts that give your drivers a good amount of cornering, as well as overtaking, because Singapore is quite a tight track and you want to be able to pick those positions up in say P3 or P4 to get P1 and P2 back. Pit stop time is also good for Singapore. We move on to Baku. This is a corner track. It's mainly speed, but it's also mainly corners. So anything, it's up to you if you want to go for the corners or the speed. Again, obviously use a boost that gives both, because the second to last turn is where the speed comes onto the straight before the lap ends, and then also the second to last, the second turn from the beginning of the lap is corners. Speed, I mean. So for Baku, you want to be using Tune-In, Merlion, Dead Fast or Eclipse, and you want to be going for soft strats on all of these races. 3-2-3 on softs if your drivers can manage it. Otherwise, you need to be managing your tires and ERS efficiently, because you don't want to be getting a one stop and doing four laps and then 4 laps on the 8-lap races and be sitting with full ERS but not enough tires to push. Austin is the 6th lap for the opening and final round, and this is again speed. So for that you've got the Eclipse, the Dead Fast, the Skull or Taurus. Anything with speed and ERS is a good one for Austin. Montreal, we have corners. Anything with pit stop time as well as corners, or ERS and corners, is a good boost for this track. You've got the Ode, Unstoppable, Tune-In and Saar for that. And Abu Dhabi is then the last race of opening and final round, and that is speed. So anything with overtaking and speed, or speed, overtaking and pit stop time, or speed and ERS is a good choice for this track. You want to be doing a 3-2-3 on this track, or 3-3-2 depending on what your drivers can manage. You've got the Dead Fast, the Merlion and the Tune-In boost for this track, and that is your GP guide for the Monaco Grand Prix in F1 Clash, the second GP of the 2023 season. That's it for this one, guys, and until the next one, peace.